Adding and subtracting polynomials this evening. So first let's talk about what a polynomial is. A polynomial is an expression which is the sum of terms in the form ax to the k, where k is a positive integer. So again, that doesn't mean too much. So let's use an example here. So if I have 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x plus 7, that is considered a polynomial, because it is a type of addition, so it is sums, because remember subtraction is just adding the opposite. And where it has ax to the k, for example, that would be 2x cubed. And when we talk about polynomials, the most common way to express them is called standard form. And in standard form, it's when your terms are placed in descending order from your highest degree to smallest degree. So when we talk about degrees, we are talking about the exponents. So if you look at our example, you can see here that in 2x cubed, the 3 in cubed is considered the degree. All right. Now here you can also see that if you put it in descending order, so you have cubed and then squared and then you have your 1x and then you don't have any variables, which is called our constant. And the number before our x would be called our leading coefficient. So in this case it's 2. Now if it was just x cubed, then remember there's always a 1 in front of it if need be. So those are just some general terms of things that we will be talking about when we talk about polynomials. So again, the degree of the polynomial is the largest degree of its term. So above here, if we were to ask what the degree of the polynomial is, it would be 3, because that is our highest exponent. So here's just some more general terms. That poly means many, mono equals 1, bi equals 2, and tri equals 3. And you should be familiar with these, but those also apply to our polynomials. So we have our polynomials is many terms, but to be more specific, we have a monomial, which is considered one term, like negative 2x. So you can see there's only one term here, no constants. A binomial has 2 terms, and this is 3x plus 1, because 1 is a constant, which is also considered a term. You can see up here it's only 1. And then our trinomial, it has 3 terms. So we have negative x squared plus 2x minus 5. So the terms are negative x squared, or negative 1x squared, 2x, and then a negative 5. And if we were to be asked what the leading coefficient of this trinomial is, it would technically be a negative 1, because our 1 is in between there. So now let's talk about adding and subtracting polynomials. So, like I had said before, it's really just making sure you add and subtract like terms. So a lot of times they try and trick you and they will put it in order, in a different order, so you have to rearrange them. So let's do an example. Here we have 6x squared minus x plus 3, and then you add on the trinomial of negative 2x plus x squared minus 7. So again, you can see that these are not in the same order. Now, I find it is best to do the vertical form. So in your homework, I want to see your vertical form of adding polynomials. So here I have 6x squared, and again, put it in order, in descending order, 6x squared minus x plus 3, and then we're adding, well, we have x squared is our like term to 6x squared, minus 2x is our term for negative x, and then minus 7 for 3. And then I went around and I bam-bammed everything so I can see what I'm doing, and I added in a 1 to make sure I remember to add a 1 to my 6. So, and then you just add straight down. So you can see you get 6x plus 1x squared is 7x squared. And then here, plus a negative 3x plus a negative 4. Or you can rewrite it with taking out some of the bam-bams, but I will accept either one. 7x squared minus 3x minus 4. So again, that's pretty much it. So let's see if you guys can do one on yourself. So on your term. So on here, you have to write any of the problems that I have your turn. I want you guys to write the problem completely and solve it in your notes. Okay? So here's find the sum and write your answer in standard form. Now here, you're going to do the same thing, except for you have 3 different parts that you are adding together. but it is the same process. You're still going to line them up. You're going to match them up with like terms, and then add all three together. So again, pause this right now, write this down, and solve it. And when you're done solving it, unpause, and then you can go and check your answer. So, all right, so let's find our solution. So you can see our solution, and I lined everything up. Now remember, when I do this, though, that they were not all in order, so I had to put them in order. And I'm going to show you a little gap here. So here you can see negative 8x cubed plus a negative 9x squared plus x plus 2. And then you're adding on 8x squared plus a negative 2x plus 4. Now you can see I just left it blank right here because there was not any term that matches x cubed. And then my last line has negative 3x cubed plus 4x squared plus a negative 1. And again, I left this part blank because there were no x's to show. So you could write 0 if you wanted to right here, or just leave it blank like I did. And then you just add right down. Okay, so you get negative 11x cubed plus 3x squared plus a negative x plus 5. Ta-da! Now, let's talk about the difference. And the key part to difference is to remember that when you subtract, it's the same thing as adding the opposite. So if you have our subtraction problem like this one, negative 6x cubed plus 5x minus 3 minus 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 3x plus 1. So we have to, subtracting is making it bam bam, but it bam bams every single term inside your parentheses. So don't forget that. Every single term inside your parentheses. One of the most common things of where they forget to distribute your negative sign. So I'm going to set it up in my vertical format. And again, I leave spaces or gaps where there is no term. So I have negative 6x cubed plus 5x plus a negative 3. Leave this. Now I went through and I distributed it already, and that's why I'm adding this. So you can see I add a negative 2x cubed, okay, plus a negative 4x squared plus 3x plus a negative 1. Okay, and that's because I distributed my negative sign to every single term inside the parentheses. And then I do like I did last time, and now I just add straight down. So you get negative 8x cubed minus 4x squared plus 8x minus 4. So now your turn. Make sure you find the difference of the next two problems and write your answer in standard form. So again, write them both. Don't forget to distribute your negative to every part inside the parentheses after the negative sign. So pause it, write these out, solve them, and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's our solution. My first one, I take it, distribute it. Then I line them up, and here you can see I don't have an x term in my first equation, and I don't have a constant in my last equation, so you just bring those down, straight down. So you get 6x squared plus, minus 3x minus 1 is your answer for the first problem. And then for the second problem, again, I line them up vertically, match up my terms to make sure they're all in the same order, distribute my negative sign, and you can see here negative 8x squared and a positive 8x squared just cancel out. So I don't have to write anything there. It's a 0. And I'm left with 15x plus 2. So that is adding and subtracting polynomials. So what I want you guys to do, just to make sure we understand it, I can check for understanding, I want you guys to do the next 6 problems. So I want you to find either the sum or the difference of these following problems and bring them to class, and we can check them. Have an excellent evening.